So, Karen and Sarah, thank you very much indeed. We are now recording, and I'd be really grateful if you'd like to introduce yourselves and members of your team that are here.
Hi, I'm Sarah Wraith, and I'm a community learning organiser and was project lead for the mental health project.
Hello, I'm Karen Hanson, and I'm the manager for family learning, and I'm the quality lead for our service.
And we've got Katie Stepanian. Katie's just giving.
Hi there.
And we've got Samara Sadiq as well.
Hello.
And they were learning champions on the project.
That's brilliant. I'm going to pop your slides up now. So I'm going to share screen, pop the slides up, and you'll have to say new slide to me is the only thing as we go through. I think that's probably the only bit. So I'll just make that slideshow from the start, and you're away. Okay, can you see that now?
Yeah, can see it now, Katina, great.
That's great. Over to you.
So we can move on to the next one. So the project in Sheffield is the Learn Well, Live Well project. And the difference that the learners made for our project, during the research project, we had over 150 people share their experience of mild to moderate mental health with us last year. Obviously, year one, we had more people. We completed over 500 surveys with research volunteers, and those were conducted by the learning champions that we employed at the beginning of the project. And the reason why we thought it was important to put those roles in is so the learners were getting a consistent approach when they were doing the data collection with people. So over the 6-week courses and the top-ups, they would tend to see the same people. And we had some times where I went to fill in if somebody was on holiday, and somebody would say, they'd sort of look at me in a certain way, and I'd sort of say, do you want to talk to the person you talked to last time this time? And they were like, well, I spoke to Katie before, or oh, I spoke to Samara before, so I'd rather, if that's all right. So we found that people built a bond with people very, very quickly, and I think that aided things for people. We ran 18 courses over 6 different areas of Sheffield, and we had 80 people who returned for a top-up. Other things that we did as well are the things that are on the screen now. Now, these are some case studies that we did with people, and we tried to get the case studies to be as visual as possible. And we wanted to capture people's experiences in different ways, not just what they told us on the surveys. So in the bottom right, you've got emotion stones that we used, and this was put together by a learner to show their journey through the course. In the top right, we've got a scribed version of learner feedback. So that was done by one of the learning champions when the learner was telling them about how they felt about things, what difference it had made to them. In the bottom left, we've got the whiteboard, well, the yellow boards actually in this case, where somebody wrote down their own thoughts and feelings about how it helped them to overcome their shyness. And in the top, we've got the yoga poses where the ladies just wanted to be photographed showing what they could do and how they developed what they could do. And, you know, we're really proud of what they've done. And some people are slightly behind because they didn't want to have front-facing photographs, but that was okay. We just took it at the learner's pace. But that's helped us to have a lot of anecdotal evidence and information to add to the data that we've collected through the surveys. Do you want to move on, Katina? So these were the types of courses that we ran. And the ones that we've actually retained for this year, and we've made free courses for people, are the Managing Stress Through Yoga, the We Can Do It, Art Fit Health, and the Live Well. So those are the courses that have become now part of the community learning and family learning offer for 17-18. And the reason is because there was still the demand there, and we felt there was still the need there in those areas. And the We Can Do It has been more predominantly refugees and asylum seekers who've attended that course in the central area of Sheffield. So that's become part of our normal curriculum offer now.
Thank you, Katina. I think one of the things that we discovered quite early on was how powerful the Discovering Potential model was, and how very accessible it was for learners, and how it helped them to identify the skills and the knowledge that they'd developed. Something else we learned was that learners that were taking part in the research, when they were using the iPads, they became independent learners at some stage during this process. And that was a benefit and a bonus, and they felt really proud of the fact that they were using technology. We also learned that in terms of learners being supported, the Learning Champions again played a key role here, and they helped learners to access additional services and classes in the project areas, and that was a big bonus for them as well. So they had somewhere to go to next, so a big benefit there.
And I think as well, where people weren't eligible for the for the research project, they didn't get effective support, and we thought that was a good benefit, and we did keep a bit of a track of people and where they've been signposted to.
Thank you. The next one, please. So we've done a huge amount of learning because we've been part of this project. And in terms of what we're going to do next, there are three main areas that we're progressing. So we are currently working on a paperless enrolment that we are developing, and then we will trial with some of our providers in Sheffield and in family learning as well, and we'll see how that works for us, what the benefits are, and then what we might do as a result. We, in the July in this year at Northern College, we had a big staff development and training day, and we shared the Discovering Potential model there with tutors delivering in all sorts of different areas. And we will be now using the Discovering Potential model in some programmes, again using that kind of trial pilot approach to see how that works with learners, and then what we might do next. And then we've already said, haven't we, that we've had those successful courses that have been retained and were added to the learning. I suppose one other thing that we've taken forward that perhaps isn't reflected on that slide is that we're using the short WebWebs questionnaires at the beginning and the end of some courses. So in family learning, which is my area of responsibility, we're going to pop those into our health and wellbeing themed courses, and we'll do it at the beginning and we'll do it at the end, and we'll use the Discovering Potential model, and we'll see what kind of impact those courses are having, and we might look again to rolling that out onto other courses into the future. And I know we're thinking of doing something similar in community learning too. So we've had a lot of learning, and we're looking forward to the what next.
Yeah, and I think to add to that, we've actually trialled the WebWebs with the community learning courses in an interim period. So from July up until September, we tried to do some summer delivery where we trialled it first. But we've been really lucky because we've retained the Learning Champions up until December, so they've been able to carry out some of that work and carry on, working with the family learning team to talk about what they'd learned, how they'd done it, so sharing that good practice. So the other work we've been doing, we had an event for Mental Health Awareness Week, and we had over 20 members of staff come to the event. So we did it from 11 until 2, really successful event. People came to get information, advice sometimes on a personal level, maybe about family members, as well as a professional context. We'd been putting activities in the kitchen all week as a prompt, in that we were going to do the event, and that really helped. And there were a lot of talk about, oh, there's affirmations in the kitchen, or oh, there's gratitude stones in the kitchen. So that actually helped, I think, to get people to the event. And what we've found since then is that staff have been coming to Katie and Sarah and contacting them, asking them for further information and advice. And also, we've sent out some training, sorry, I'm going to sneeze, it's gone, sent out some training on professional resilience, and I've just nipped to the kitchen and somebody said, oh, I've enrolled on that course. So it is picking up that kind of momentum and signposting people to those sorts of things as well.
What I love is we've left some of the affirmations up in the meeting room where the event took place, and we've been using those affirmations in some of our meetings, and that's created quite a buzz as well.
And as well, we'd been asked to leave some of the activities, like the colouring activities, in the kitchen for people over lunchtime, where if they don't want to talk to anybody but they want to break, you know, they've been using the colouring activities at lunchtime. Okay, so as part of this, we'd been asked to do some CPD for external agencies, and we actually went to Shift Media in Sheffield, and we talked to them about the Discovering Potential model, and also how we've supported learners and kinds of things that we've come across as we've supported learners. And that went really well, and they're interested in using the Discovering Potential model as well. So we're signposting, they work predominantly with 16 to 19 provision, so the younger age group. But that was really useful. We're going to be doing some work with our learning champions across Sheffield, because what we want to do is get the case studies and the videos that we've used in the project and actually show them the type of evidence we've used, and that people don't have to be visual. They can use the emotion stones, they can write something down and talk over it. And we want to have that, more of that kind of evidence of the work we're doing in community and family learning. We're also continuing to support the community learning classes. So last week, Samira went to an English class and did some of the time to change activities as a speaking and listening activity with the learners. So she did the fact and myth, and then she talked about stress. And that worked really well, and the tutor, for the English tutor, was really happy with how that had gone. And we've also now been asked to work with the ESOL tutors in community learning to help them to develop some of their information and do some of those activities. And we'd been asked as well to put a display board in the town hall. So that told people a little bit about the research project last year, but also signposted them some information that was valid this year and some support services that people can self-refer to. So we've been really, really busy. We're trying to keep the momentum going so that it's not stopping really once the project stopped, and that's really what we're trying to aim for.
Before we move over to you, I will just add one thing that we've just been working on this week, and that is that the mental health project has become part of our self-assessment report for last year, and some of the work that we're taking forward that we've outlined today have become part of our quality improvement plan. So we're recognising this as a service level, not just in community and family learning.
And as well, the online survey that we will be using is still Smart Survey, because we were happy with that format and how that had worked for us and the kind of results we could get back from that. So that's a piece of it that we're, you know, developing.
So that's over to you, really, the audience, with any comments. Maybe Samira or Katie might want to kind of say something about what their experience has been like. Feel free to unmute yourself.
Yeah, if there's anything you want to add or you think I've missed. I think you've covered just about everything, actually.
I've certainly enjoyed my first experience working in community learning, and I've really enjoyed working with the tutors, and I think some of the work that we've been doing has broken that stigma around talking to learners around mental health. Some of the tutors were a bit worried, obviously, about having those conversations, and I think some of the work that we're doing now is making it a bit more normalised to bring that into classes and giving that support to the tutors. So yeah, I've really enjoyed it.
And Lou, you've posted something in the chat, and then perhaps we'll come to Samira if she's brave enough to tell us then.
Is it about the professional resilience training?
I'd just really love to know more, Samira, or anybody really. It just sounds really interesting, and I'm not very far away, so I could maybe come over and have a chat, but if you could say a little bit more here, that would be fabulous.
And Karen and Sarah could rush to your rescue and help you out with that one.
It's something that's online. We can send you the information if that's helpful, so you wouldn't actually have to come to us. It's not something that we're delivering.
It's through Future Learn, the courses, so it's online there.
Fantastic, I'll look it up. I really like those Future Learn courses, and I've not found that one, so thanks everybody.
No, we must have missed that one, because this morning I started a really exciting one on cyber security. Riveting stuff.
Yeah, I'm not going to be joining you on that one, Katina. Hannah's
Okay.
got a question. She's asking about the discovering potential model.
Okay, fire away then, you lot.
What we've tried to do, and we've got another briefing tomorrow. Sorry, I can hear myself in May. It's echoing. We've got a briefing tomorrow with some of the tutors, and we're going to talk to them about the discovering potential model and how it can link into the ILP. And talking about, it's not just initial IAG, and it's not just at the end. It can be used each week so that people can map their learning. And also they can map some of the other skills like confidence, resilience, bouncing back. So it's not just around the course aims. And we think that will help to have some of those conversations. I mean, if you've not seen the wheel before, Katina is the person for the wheel.
I wasn't sure if I was the source of the echo. So those people who've been involved in the project probably all know this as well as I do, if they're honest. But the model is a psychoeducative model which Catherine James and Christine Nightingale developed, I don't know, probably about 2004. And if you go on the MHFE website in the library, just put Discovering Potential in, there's a box set of all the resources around it. And you can use the model for guidance for learners and staff as well. So a big chunk of the original book is about how you use the model to help staff work out what CPD they want. So it might fit, you know, kind of really well. And it's got just 3 stages to it. The first one is thinking, the second one's getting, and the third one's keeping. And Lou, you might want to bail me out here with some Slimming World stuff in a minute. So the idea is that the thinking stage is getting people to think about maybe their past experiences, but really what they want to do in life, you know, what change they want, what their aspirations are. And I think the critical difference with us doing that to many other services is that we only have carrots. We don't have any sticks. And I think why lots of other services struggle is because even if that's not on the table, the people who are coming for help, particularly with mental health problems, who made themselves have all kinds of fears that are not realistic or are realistic for them, just worry about the sticks. So it's the fact that we've only got carrots for people, I think, that makes the thinking one really important, because you can help people to kind of break free of all their expectations. And then the next stage, the getting stage, I think everybody always thinks it's about, you know, getting on a course and doing the learning, but actually it's about spending some time looking at the barriers. You know, what are the things that stop you getting what you want in life, and how do you find ways to get past those? And that's sometimes with our help, or it's sometimes because you then do a course that gives you the sense of opportunity and agency that can be part of your kind of recovery. So it fits really well as a recovery model. And then the third stage is keeping. It's keeping that. Thank you for that. That's great. I've put the link to Future Learning for you, Mel. Really great courses. Honestly, they're not all cybersecure. And I think it's the first time I've seen cybersecurity. So anybody else got any other comments or questions, or want to share their experiences?
Certainly, now that we've expanded the Discovering Potential model to the wider community and learning offer, it's interesting to see how it can be applicable to people with higher needs, because obviously the research project was for people with mild to moderate mental health conditions, and in our wider community learning offer we work with people who sometimes have much higher needs. And using that Discovering Potential model, as I've mentioned, particularly the getting stage, has been really useful in finding ways to support people and offer signposting so that people can continue to attend the courses.
Yeah, and I think one that sticks in my mind is when I was out and I were doing a week 6 with somebody, and it was a lady who, you know, sort of was in her 50s and never really had any help. And she'd come to the class and she'd really enjoyed the class, and she said, "I'm so sad it's finishing," and you know, she's quite upset about it. And then she came to the top up as well, and we signposted us some of the IAP courses and said, you know, you can self-refer to these are out there, you can do, you know, whatever you want, as many as you want. And she sort of said to me, "Why has nobody told me about this before? Why has nobody said this to me before?" So I think, you know, the fact that it was that consistent relationship building enabled her to be able to do that then, and you know, sort of and I think she's one of many people that we worked with. I'm sure, you know, Katie and Sarah would agree, one of many people who'd benefited from that signposting and, you know, that asking those relevant questions and that thinking and getting in.
I've got a question about your experiment with paperless enrollment. We keep getting that knocked back from us because of the requirement for a wet signature. So I'd be really interested to see how you get on with that. We produce everything, and they just have to sign at the bottom from our MIS.
Yeah, it was a conversation I had, Rob, when we talked about it, whether we needed the wet signature. And while we think we do, the survey's still out a little bit, but I think what we've really used is the fact that we've had a full year of doing this through the research project. So we know it'll go into the system. We've had the consent forms where we had the signature. So it's something we're still exploring, but once we have and we're up and running with it, then I can get in touch and let you know. But it is a conversation
please do.
but I think still a bit undecided. We're not sure if we can have the signature somewhere else, or whether it would be that we'll have some kind of consent form, a bit like we have for the project. But I think definitely for getting it into the data system, it really helped that we've had a year. So we can't say it doesn't work now, can we? So, you know, that's been really helpful for us.
And Peterborough are doing the same, just to say. Now, the bit that's interesting about that is you and Peterborough were the two projects that, after we'd been to Barnsley for the training last year, started straight away. So it may be that you've had longer and you've got a bigger sense of the benefit, if you like, because you started immediately, but both of you are carrying on, and also both still using Smart Survey. I got the request through for them the other day, so that's really useful.
And as well, in community learning, we subcontract, and a lot of issues that are returned to subcontractors are around missing aspects of paperwork. But if you're using the Smart Survey and you put in the skip logic, where it either takes them forward when they don't need to fill something out, or won't allow them to move forward if they've not filled it out, then that should alleviate some of those. And as well, when we were correcting any errors, because of the ID, it's not highlighting anybody, you can send that through quite quickly in a report and get that fixed quite quickly. So we're hoping that when we get up and running, we'll have the same kind of response as what we've had through the project, where it's quite quick, and things are being fixed quite quickly as well, so that it makes everybody's life a little bit easier. We've already sourced the iPads, so the iPads are there, MiFi's are ready. It's just really getting Smart Survey on our supplier framework, but we're getting there, and we'll keep working towards that.
Anybody else with any other questions? I'm just noting it's 5-2 for you two, so you could disappear and leave the rest of us for any questions. And just to say thank you both very much indeed. And if people have got questions, what we thought we'd do is I'll pass them on to Sarah afterwards, and we'll answer them and put them in the news item on MHFE, so you can kind of catch them up there. But good luck with your next meeting and with your briefing on discovering potential. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.